Hi, and welcome to House News. In this episode, we will present to you the latest information coming from the House of Representatives of Indonesia. Before we get started, here are some news headlines for today. During the plenary session of the opening session period 1 for 2024 and 2025, Speaker of the House highlighted the constant challenges over the past 5 years have affected the national stability and economic security. As Indonesia celebrates the 79th anniversary of independence, the House demands the Golden Indonesia Vision 2045 to be a guide in realizing a sovereign, advanced, and sustainable Indonesia. The House stresses the importance of national unity for sustainable development and economic growth as Indonesia commemorates its 79th anniversary. The Indonesian Parliament expects the second Indonesia-Pacific Parliamentary Partnership will strengthen interparliamentary cooperations among countries in the Pacific region. Sightful has unveiled Spacetop G1, a laptop with augmented reality glasses to replace the screen in a new way to envision spatial computing. The Speaker of the House, Dr. Honoris Causa Puan Maharani, stated that in recent years, Indonesia has faced a series of challenges, from COVID-19 pandemic, regional geopolitical conflicts, and the global food and energy crisis.
During the plenary sessions of the opening of session period 1 of the House for 2024 and 2025 and the state address by the Presidents of Indonesia on the bill on the state budget for the 2025 fiscal year, Speaker of the House Dr. Honoris Causa Puan Maharani mentions, due to the collaborative efforts of all stakeholders and Indonesians, the national economy is gradually recovering. Even though many countries are experiencing crisis, Indonesia's economy has steadily grown by approximately 5% each year due to extensive infrastructure development. However, amidst the physical progress, Puan expressed concerns over the lack of attention to national character development, which has led to a decline in integrity and work ethic in various sectors.
Pembangunan nasional, walaupun disertai berbagai tantangan, telah berhasil memajukan Indonesia, khususnya dalam pembangunan infrastruktur yang masif. Akan tetapi, di tengah semaraknya pembangunan lahiriah ini, kita justru kurang merawat pembangunan karakter bangsa.
In the same session, President Joko Widodo also highlighted Indonesia's ability to overcome various challenges over the past decade, including COVID-19 pandemic, global political tensions, and climate change. Nevertheless, Indonesia has successfully maintained its economic and political stability. President Jokowi hoped the discussions of the 2025 state budget can be conducted effectively, focusing on education, health, food security, and infrastructure development to realize the visions of Golden Indonesia 2045.
Indonesia mampu menghadapi tantangan yang sangat berat selama 10 tahun terakhir. Mulai dari pandemi COVID-19, gejolak politik global, perang dagang, dan berbagai ancaman krisis, serta perubahan iklim yang menimbulkan banyak bencana.
TVR Parliament Team reports.
On the commemoration of the 79th anniversary of Indonesia, the House urges the government to maximize the potential to achieve the Golden Indonesia goals. This occasion should be the momentum to improve the education sector by addressing violence and bullying.
Member of Commission 5 of the House Muhammad Ara stated the visions of Golden Indonesia 2045 can be achieved if the government successfully maximizes all existing potentials from natural to human resources. He hopes 79 years of Indonesia's independence will unlock opportunities to realize the visions of a prosperous Indonesia by 2045.
Tentu kita berharap bahwa dengan usia yang 79 tahun ini, insya Allah menyongsong Indonesia Emas itu semakin terbuka peluang untuk bagaimana negeri ini memaksimalkan seluruh potensi yang ada untuk menyongsong bagaimana kemajuan Republik Indonesia ini.
Furthermore, member of Commission 8 of the House Endang Maria Astuti said the growing violence against women and children shows the education sectors, especially religious educations, is still inadequate. Therefore, she urges the new government to improve these sectors so that women and children in Indonesia can be protected from violence and bullying.
Saya berharap presiden yang terpilih ini mampu menguatkan Kementerian Agama untuk tusi-tusi keagamaan sehingga mampu mencegah segala implementasi yang sedang saat ini terjadi, baik kekerasan, korupsi dan sebagainya. Itu mampu dicegah melalui pendidikan keagamaan.
TVR Parliament Team reports.
As Indonesia celebrates its 79th year of independence, Commission 2 of the House highlights the importance of maintaining unity and solidarity. These values are necessary to promote economic growth and achieve sustainable development.
At the venue of the annual assembly of August 16, member of Commission 2 of the House Rianta explains the public and government should recognize independence by focusing on unity to advance the nations. The government and the public must progress, leaving the past elections behind.
Mengimbau Pak Prabowo untuk bagaimana secepatnya bangun konsensus nasional untuk bagaimana membangun Indonesia baru menuju Indonesia yang kita cita-citakan. Kemerdekaan itu merupakan satu jembatan emas, apa yang disampaikan Bung Karno dulu. Saya berharap kepada generasi muda dan kepada semuanya warisi apinya, jangan abunya. Terus bekerja, terus berkarya sesuai dengan bidang masing-masing dan jaga persatuan dan kesatuan bangsa. Merdeka.
Meanwhile, member of Commission 4 of the House Nuraini hopes equitable development can reach even the most remote areas of the country. The commitment to achieving food self-sufficiency should be improved as it influences the welfare of farmers in Indonesia.
Semoga bangsa kita semakin maju, kuat, rakyatnya semakin sejahtera. Di samping itu juga percepatan pembangunan semakin meningkat. Target bangsa kita ke depan harus memikirkan bagaimana sektor pangan untuk bisa semakin meningkat dan ketergantungan impor sektor pangan juga bisa diminimalisir yang nantinya akan memberikan dampak atau efek kepada peningkatan kesejahteraan bagi petani dan nelayan.
TVR Parliament Team reports.
When we return, we will have more updates on the parliamentary diplomacy. Stay tuned on House News. BKSAP of the House promotes stronger diplomatic ties between Indonesia and the Pacific Island countries. The House hopes to elevate the relationship from a simple partnership to a more significant collaboration.
Vice Chairpersons of BKSAP of the House Putu Supatmarudana points out several member countries of the 2024 Indonesia-Pacific Parliamentary Partnership Forum hope for more collaborations in the region. A detailed organizational structure could facilitate focused discussions on regional topics and issues in the Pacific region. Putu Supatmarudana provided an example of Indonesia's potential to become a transit hub for flights from Europe. This could open up opportunities for the country to benefit from connectivity European routes to the Pacific Island.
Kesimpulan daripada chair kemarin, Ketua Forum IPPP, Indonesia Pacific Parliamentary Partnership, itu ada aspirasi untuk meningkatkannya menjadi assembly. Di mana kalau assembly, platformnya akan lebih komprehensif, frameworknya lebih jelas, sehingga ke depan dalam organisasinya ada kesekjenan yang mengawal, isu-isu komitenya jelas, misalkan komite Peace and Security, di situ juga membahas human rights mungkin. Yang kedua isu komite ekonomi. Kita tidak mau hanya menjadi mengawasi, tapi kita juga ingin memberikan satu konsep idea bersama juga pemerintah tentunya. Untuk apa? Agar engagement ke depan lebih komprehensif. Kita bisa menjadi hub untuk bagi misalnya destinasi pariwisata Pasifik kan indah. Orang Eropa kalau mau dia ke Pasifik, kalau kita bisa jadi hub, tentu mereka akan singgah dulu di kita.
Furthermore, the House encourages closer cooperation with Pacific Island nations by establishing an Indonesian Consulate General in each country. Oki Sulindra Endomi, TVR Parliament Report.
The House supports stronger ties with Russia, especially in the area of food and energy. By deepening collaborations in these sectors, the House highlights improvement in national food security and energy resilience, ensuring mutual benefits for both countries.
Chairpersons of the Committee for Inter-Parliamentary Cooperations of the House, Fadlizon, received a courtesy visit from the Russian ambassador to Indonesia. During the meeting, Fadlizon welcomed the efforts of both countries to strengthen diplomatic relations through cooperations in various sectors, particularly in the food and energy sectors.
Beliau ingin memperkuat hubungan parlemen Indonesia dan Rusia dan menyarankan dan juga menyampaikan undangan untuk delegasi parlemen Indonesia untuk hadir secara official pada bulan September dan juga menghadiri Eurasian Women Parliamentarians yang akan diselenggarakan pada bulan September. Untuk kedua negara, hubungan kedua negara, terutama juga apa yang telah disampaikan oleh Presiden terpilih Pak Prabowo, bahwa Indonesia akan berkonsentrasi untuk ketahanan pangan kita, swasembada pangan kita, dan juga energy security.
Moreover, Fadlizon highlighted Russia and Indonesia often support each other in various international forums such as the Inter-Parliamentary Union regarding security issues that have been raised as emergency items in IPU sessions. Fadlizon represents the Indonesian parliament as a member of the Russia-Ukraine War Task Force. Additionally, he emphasized Indonesia's participation in international forums is necessary in shaping an independent and active political stance. This policy supports the promotions of world peace. Adila Entemi, TVR Parliament Report.
BKSAP of the House urges AIPA member countries to prioritize agricultural sectors. This was the key topic during the recent second meeting with the Food and Agricultural Organizations and the International Institute for Sustainable Development.
Chairpersons of BKSAP of the House, Fadlizon, stated the current challenges in agriculture are mainly influenced by climate change, leading to extreme weather conditions and affecting water availability. Fadlizon suggested farmers and livestock breeders should strive for at least a 30% profit from their harvest. He also highlighted the need to enhance the quality of fertilizers, seeds, and animal feed to maximize agricultural output.
AKTI recommends that our farmers, planters, cattlemen, and others profit at least 30%. Last year, the Indonesian farmers' term of trade, nilai tukar petani, 112.46 for farmers, 107.63 for food crops farmers, 101.81 for animal husbandry farmers, 105.4 for fishermen. While for smallholders, plantation is estate crop farmers, the number reached 128.49 annually. So it means we need to do more. To do so, fertilizer, seeds, and fodder must be guaranteed in quantity and quality.
According to data from the Central Statistic Agency, the current annual income for small-scale farmers is only 5.23 million rupiah, which is lower than other farmers who can earn up to 22.9 million rupiah annually. This data indicates the farmers' welfare is still not assured and remains unequal. Andini Putri, TVR Parliament reports.
After the break, we will bring you the latest from technology. Stay tuned to House News. Technology startup Sightful has announced the SpaceTop G1, a unique laptop without a screen. This device replaces the traditional display with a pair of augmented reality glasses, providing a virtual workspace flexible to any environment.
A new startup called Sightful recently unveiled a spatial laptop called the SpaceTop G1. It is a laptop without a screen that comes with augmented reality or AR glasses. To access the screen, you will have to wear the glasses to get a 100-inch virtual display in front of your eyes. The glasses include support for custom prescription. Taken from Yahoo, as for the hardware is not going to be breaking any speed records. The Spacetop G1 comes with a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, which is typically found in mobile devices, along with 16 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage. This device has two USB-C ports, which connect two monitors. The wireless connectivity options reinforce this idea, as the G1 supports Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth, SIM cards 5G and 4G. However, the battery will run out after just 8 hours. The system also comes with an OS to take advantage of the AR capabilities. It's built on the top of Chromium OS and is designed for navigations via a selection of gestures. Testers have named the operating system by calling it Android-like, and due to being custom software, it doesn't offer support for every app in Android. The G1 is equipped with a built-in 5-megapixel camera for video calls. The Spacetop G1 laptop may lack a physical display, but it costs $1,900. You can get a fancy new MacBook Air or a Copilot and PC and a pair of AR glasses for around $1,500.
Google Translate makes its largest expansion by adding 110 new languages. This allows more people to access translations in their native language.
Before now, Google Translate has supported 133 languages, so this expansion is its biggest ever, marking a significant jump. As quoted from Detik, this update also introduces several regional languages from Indonesia, including Acehese, Balinese, Betawi, Maduris, Makassaris, and Minangkabau. Google Translate also supports Batak in 3 dialects: Karo Batak, Simalungun Batak, and Toba Batak. In addition to Indonesia regional languages, this update also supports languages and dialects from other countries, such as Afar, Cantonese, Manx, Punjabi, Tamazight, and Tok Pisin. Google stated the newly added languages represent 614 million people, or about 8% of the world's populations. Around a quarter of them are from Africa, making this the largest expansions of African languages on Google Translate so far. Google considered elements such as regional variations, dialects, and different spelling standards when adding new language support to Translate. Hundreds of newly added languages have different levels of usage. Some languages like Cantonese have long been requested and have 100 million speakers, while others have no active speakers but are still being preserved by their communities. The additions of 110 new languages to Google Translate is part of Google's initiative to support 1,000 languages through AI, announced in 2022. This monumental expansion is powered by the company's advanced artificial intelligence model, PaLM-2. Some of the added languages are spoken by small communities of indigenous people, and a few have almost no native speakers but active revitalization efforts. This move by Google is a significant step toward preserving linguistic diversity and promoting global understanding.
Many social media users are switching from Twitter to a new platform, Blue Sky. After a year in invite-only beta mode, Blue Sky opened up its doors.
After Elon Musk took charge of Twitter and sacked most of its staff, many users went looking for alternative Twitter-like platforms. Although networks like Mastodon and Hive Social received a bump in user numbers, none went truly mainstream. They proved either too small, too poorly managed, or too complicated to use. Now, a new Twitter alternative has emerged, backed by Jack Dorsey, who co-founded Twitter 17 years ago. Named Blue Sky, the platform looked almost exactly the same as Twitter on the outside, but with one important difference. Taken from ABC, launched on app stores in February, Blue Sky at first could only be joined via invitations from its developers. Recently, they opened the app up so existing users could issue invites. Word quickly spread. Users' numbers are now about 50,000, with more than 1 million on the waiting list. These figures are tiny compared with Twitter's networks of hundreds of millions. But the challenger has momentum with glowing media coverage and high popularity rankings on the app stores. The platform itself is almost identical in functionality to Twitter. Users can do the equivalent of post, retweet, and like. The ability to send direct messages and upload videos are to be added. Blue Sky launched moderation features similar to ones on X, including users list and moderation list, which can be used to mute or block many users at once. The app is also developing a feature that lets users limit who can reply to posts. Some Blue Sky users are still advocating for the ability to set their account to private after Blue Sky announced it would launch a public web interface. The Authenticated Transfer Protocol, or AT protocol, is the networking technology that powers Blue Sky. In a typical social network, this communication is controlled by a central authority which then harvests users' data and curates what content they see.
And that's House News for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.